Hello and welcome to Talking Business with me, Laquessa Burak. Let's have a look at what's coming up on the show.
This is the first time I'm here, and it's great to meet people in real life.
Are we breaking up with digital dating? Looking for love online during lockdown was a multi-billion-dollar business, so why are so many of us swiping out of the apps? Is it that the price of love is just becoming too steep? I'll be asking one woman who's been in touch with 6,000 Americans and noticed a big change in the way we use the sites. And I'll be heading out to an in-person dating event to talk to the brave souls searching for a partner in real life. Plus, later in the program, it's a country of 1.5 billion people, and he has millions on his site looking for love. I'll be chatting to the boss of Matrimony.com, India's biggest digital dating group. So how is love blossoming across what is becoming one of the most important dating markets in the world? Wherever you're joining me from around the world, once again, a big hello and a warm welcome to the show. Now, during the global lockdown, the flame of love burnt brightly online. With billions of us stuck at home, the only way singles could mingle was to fire up those dating apps. Dating sites like Hinge, Bumble and Tinder became billion-dollar businesses as sofa surfing for Mr. or Ms. Right took off. But lately, it seems that we might be falling out of love with the apps. Match Group is the largest dating company in the world. It owns the big digital brands like Hinge, Tinder, OkCupid and Match.com. But it recently said it was cutting 6% of its workforce. After the amount of people paying for services on its biggest site, Tinder dropped for the 7th quarter in a row. So that's almost 2 years of fewer people paying for the service. But it's not all bad news. There was some encouraging growth at stablemate Hinge, and whilst fewer people are paying for Tinder, the ones which are left are paying more. The price of love on Tinder can be steep, especially in a cost of living crisis. Whilst it won't cost you anything to sign up for the service, once on there, a premium account will cost you around $8 a month. And just at the end of last year, Tinder unveiled an invite-only ultra premium service for, get this, nearly $500 a month or almost $6,000 a year. Meanwhile, at rival Bumble, you can join for free, but a premium profile will cost you around $20 for a week of swiping. But if you sign up for longer, they'll charge you less per week. But the cost of living is hitting younger people. That's according to the Pew Research Center, which surveyed more than 6,000 people in the United States. One of the authors of that massive research project is joining me now. Colleen McLean, huge welcome to the programme. I wonder if I can start off by asking you, of the thousands of people you interviewed, what kind of difference did you find between experiences that men and women have of online dating?
So we do see differences overall when we ask people about their experiences online dating. About 6 in 10 men say their experiences have been positive. About half of women who've online dated say the same. And to get into some of the details, we explored some of the more negative experiences people might encounter while online dating. And we do see that younger women under 50, stand out for experiencing some of these things. So for example, they were more likely than other groups to say they'd received unwanted sexually explicit messages or images, for example. Another place we see differences and when we asked people who'd been on dating apps more recently how they feel about the number of messages they receive. So we've heard a lot of discussion about online daters' emotions, from burnout to elation, everything in between. And what we find when we ask online daters themselves is that there's a gender disconnect here. So women are more likely to say, in the past year, they've felt overwhelmed by how many messages they get on dating sites and apps. And men, on the other hand, are more likely to say they feel insecure about the same thing. Some are concerned about safety. They think dating sites and apps should implement background checks. They've had these negative experiences, but others are saying that their experiences have been positive.
So when we talk about stressors, particularly regarding young women, you did say, it's burnout, feeling overwhelmed with some of the messages that they're getting. That definitely changes as you go up the age group, does it?
We do see differences by age, yes. And in particular, when we looked at some of the negative experiences people had had, we saw that women under 50 were those who stood out. And so these younger women who'd been on dating sites and apps were more likely than their older counterparts and then men to say, for example, they received unwanted content. They've received unwanted continued contact from people after they've said they didn't want to be contacted. They've been threatened, things like that. And so, yes, we do see younger women in particular standing out.
Now, why do you think some sites are more popular than others? In the research for this, I was overwhelmed by the sheer number of sites offering different services, working to help different groups within the community, the population, ages, professionalism. But what is it, do you think, that makes a site more popular than the rest?
That's a great question. And I think that our work really speaks to the range of places people are going to meet people for many different reasons. And so most of our questions in the survey asked about the online dating experience as a whole. So we asked people to step back and say, thinking about your time on dating sites and apps, what was it like? What kinds of things have you experienced? Have you met your partner? We did also dive into some specific sites and apps, and we asked about a series of places people might go. We found among the list we asked about, Tinder was the most popular, especially among online dating users under 30. But there is just a vast range of places people go to online date, as you mentioned. And our survey didn't delve into the reasons why someone picked one over the other, but we certainly know, just looking at the online dating landscape, that different apps, different platforms offer different things. We see in our work, for example, that about a third of online dating users have paid for an app or a site or a feature on it. So paid for something extra. And platforms differ in the various features they offer.
So if you do pay, and if you do go for that extra service with a much higher, bigger price tag, did users find that it was worth it?
So we did see some differences in how people rated their experiences. And so we found that about 6 in 10 online daters who said they'd paid for a site or an app or a feature at some point said their experiences had been positive. And among those who haven't paid, that share is a bit smaller. So about half say their experiences have been positive. One other thing I'll mention is that different platforms may appeal to different people. And overall, we asked people about their reasons for being on dating sites and apps. And it's important to note that while, many people consider, one measure of success of online dating is finding a partner, people are on dating sites for other reasons as well, ranging from meeting a partner to having casual dates, making friends, having casual sex. And so while our survey didn't delve into how different platforms played into that, there is a real diversity in people's experiences and in what they're looking for.
We are in a huge cost of living crisis at the moment. I'm just wondering if a cost proved to be quite an important feature for younger people signing up.
The main differences we saw here were actually by income level as well as by gender. And so we did see that users with higher incomes, relatively speaking, were more likely to have paid for an app or a feature on it. We also saw that men were more likely than women to say that they had paid for an app or a feature on that dating app.
And what about scams? That's a growing issue, isn't it, for anything online? Just how concerned were people about that?
We did ask people about their experiences here, and about half of those who've used a dating app at some point say they think they've encountered somebody who's trying to scam them. And there are some differences within this as well. And so men under 50 are particularly likely to say this. 63% of men under 50 who've tried online dating say they think somebody's tried to scam them.
Now, obviously, we're in the era of AI, but when a lot of these online dating apps first started, it was all about the algorithm, and we learned very quickly exactly what algorithms were doing. And it's the algorithm that helps to match and pair up people. Did you find that in the research, people felt confident that the algorithm got it right?
So we asked a couple of questions with regard to this. One was sort of a broader question. Do you think algorithms can predict whether people will fall in love or not? Now, overall, most people are skeptical or they're unsure. And so 35% of Americans say no, algorithms can't predict love. 43% say, I just really don't know. But we do see about 1 in 5 people saying yes, these algorithms can predict whether two people can fall in love and will fall in love. Now, in terms of success, I think that's what you were alluding to as well. Did these algorithms work? I want to underscore there's a lot of different definitions of success. Like I mentioned, people are looking for a lot of different things as they're online dating. But of course, one definition of success is, did you meet a partner? And our study finds that among partnered US adults, 1 in 10 say they met their spouse or partner on a dating site or app. This is higher among some groups. So, for example, 1 in 5 partnered adults under 30 say they met their partner online dating.
Colleen McLean, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. It was wonderful to speak with you.
So, what's it like on the ground? I wanted to hear from people in real life. So I went along to an in-person dating event right here in London to hear what's really going on with those looking for love. James Birrell is the founder of a brand new dating company, setting up events for people to connect in person at different locations across London. Tonight it's a dating and board game event. The company is just 6 months old, but already these nights are sold out. So James, why do you think that people are essentially turning away from the online virtual dating scene?
We've noticed a huge demand for in-person events over the last few months, which is primarily due to people being a little bit tired of online dating through apps, etc. A lot of app fatigue, people really wanting to move back to an in-person experience, make more authentic connections through meeting people face to face. We noticed that slightly more women attend the events than male, as far as we're concerned. What that tells us is that women see these events as a safe space and a comfortable, controlled environment in which to meet new people. Something that maybe if you meet through an app or online at a venue, wherever you live, that just isn't the case. So what we can do is we can set up a much more comfortable, relaxed, safe and controlled environment where people can meet more organically.
Now, James, this is a generation that is burdened with historic levels of cost of living. So I'm just wondering why you'd open up such a specific business at this point in 2024.
People now with costs of living, they're more conscious about how they're spending, but when they do so, they want an experience to be able to talk about. So bringing people together in person to enjoy a couple of hours at an event, making friends, making new connections, which is so important in a transient city like London, I think that's of something that's really valuable to young people.
These events tend to attract typically more women than men. So, as James prepares for his daters, I wanted to find out why those younger women are coming to these in-person events.
It's my first time going to like a real life thing, and I'm still kind of using the apps as well. But I think the thing with it is it starts to feel like a bit tiring, like lots of conversations and like I feel like it's quite hard to read people from conversations. The fact that like every day you've got to check the messages and maybe you're talking to a few different people to see if you think you'll get on, and then that's quite time consuming if you've got like work and like friends and stuff as well. And then sort of like having the same conversations over and over again, right? Like, who are you? What do you do? That being a bit of a time and energy thing. So I think it's better to like just meet people in real life and then see how you feel.
For online, you have a wider pool but then it really depends on the funnel, right? Who you actually meet online. And for the real live event, you also need to go through the time to find it, book it, and you show up. This is a game thing, date night. So for me, I just kind of come to play a game. And whether or not I meet a person, it would be great, but if not, it's okay. Yeah, and that is obviously much better than online chatting.
Now, early in the programme, we saw how some people in America and the UK are feeling, shall we say, weary with dating online after its massive growth during lockdown. But what's it like in India? Well, my next guest company holds the record for matching the most number of couples in a country of 1.5 billion people. He's the boss of Matrimony.com, which owns brands such as BharatMatrimony and a host of others. And they're actually the market leader across one of the biggest markets in the world. Mr. Murugavel Janakiraman, a huge welcome to the programme. Now, let me start with this. How different is the dating scene in India to the West?
Okay, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Let me explain about the culture in India, how people get married. India, there is no concept of dating, though today youngsters do some bit of dating, but culturally it is not the case. How people get married either could be arranged by parents, or people as singles may fall in love with the intention of getting married. That's the reason that Tinder or this kind of casual relationship sites are not so popular or not so successful in India.
So when you were setting up the company, you've pointed out already, you know, that culturally it was very much the idea of having your marriage arranged. It was senior members of the family who guided couples together. Was this a challenge? Is it still a challenge? You know, do families, senior, older members of the family who are highly respected, do they feel disrespected by apps, by online sites like yours?
2 decades ago, it was the case, people used online matrimony site as a last resort, and you're able to gain the credibility of all set of people in India because over 2 decades, literally millions of people got married through a service, including my own marriage. I'm happily married to, my wife Deepa. We met through BharatMatrimony.com. Like that, today I come across so many people. So because today the online matrimony sites have become the major source of finding a life partner. Today become the most credible, trusted, preferred platform. So it's no more of the last resort to find a life partner. In fact, it has become the primary source of finding a life partner.
Huge congratulations for finding your partner on Matrimony. I just want to pick up on the issue of building credibility, building trust. I mean, this is so very, very important. How do you deal with the challenge of scamming?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So one thing is very clear, we do a lot of things. First of all, the platform is meant for matrimony service. So anyone even mentioning in the profile for friendship dating, we don't even allow those profile to be part of our platform. That's a point number one. Do a lot of verification, from phone verifications. We do a lot of other forms of verification, though those are optional. The phone is mandatory verification. We have the ID verification, we have a self verification, we have education verification. We do all forms of verification. We also do the AI analytic to see any scammers trying to contact beyond certain preferences. So we use AI significantly. Plus also get a member feedback. Anyone report saying that this person doesn't seem to be intent to marriage things. So we do take actions. Plus we also do a lot of education videos. We have the video with one of the popular actors in India called Vidya Balan. We have the video to educate users. If there are some frauds may take place through online matrimony sites. And because the nature of the platform is meant for marriage, we do encounter only limited number of the frauds, but however, we do take these things very seriously.
Now, India is hugely diverse. I'm talking socially, classes of course. How important is it that you reach and engage with the different sites that you have to offer, that you do actually engage with the different class strata in India? I believe you have a dating site, an elite dating site, but also a blue-collar dating site. How well does that work?
India is culturally, it's a very diverse. There are so many what you call communities or caste, and majority of people prefer to marry within those communities or castes. You'd be surprised to know we are running almost at 200 plus matrimony sites. It's based on languages, like say Gujarati matrimony or say Punjabi matrimony, Tamil matrimony, BharatMatrimony. Based on religions, we have a Christian matrimony, Muslim matrimony, like that. We also based on various castes like Agarwal matrimony, Patel matrimony. We do a special sites as well, divorcee matrimony, doctors matrimony. See, for us, the communities are like-minded people. When people to prefer to marry like-minded people, we consider the community. So we run the 200 plus matrimony sites based on these religion, languages, communities, and specific sites. As you rightly said, we also look at socioeconomic status. We have special offerings for rich and affluent. For India, it's called elite matrimony. We launched almost 15 years ago. We should be a minimum of say 1.5 million US dollar to be part of the elite matrimony. So, by the way, incidentally, we have a elite matrimony experience center in various airports in India. We almost have 10 elite matrimony experience center in the airports because airports are the best place to reach out the elites. Also, we have a Jodi. It's an exclusive matchmaking service for a non-degree holder. That is, people have studied 10th standard or +2, which is below college. We have an exclusive matrimony service for those segment of the population, which sort of bottom of the pyramid. An exclusive matrimony service for those people as well in multiple Indian languages, where the service even kept free for female. So, as a brand, we have a multiple brands. Sorry, as an organization, we have multiple brands based on those religion, language, communities, plus top of the pyramid, which is on the socioeconomic status for the bottom of the pyramid. So we have a segmented that entire market based on these criteria. Could be on cultural criteria or socioeconomic criteria. Plus, we do our retail outlets as well. We have 150 retail outlets where parents can walk into these retail outlets and avail the matchmaking service.
I think it sounds like you're covering all bases, particularly when it comes to the different sections of society. I'd really love to know what you're doing for the LGBT community.
Oh, yeah. Forgot to mention, you have a Rainbow Love, an exclusive dating or matchmaking service for LGBT communities. It's called rainbowlove.com, LUV, yeah.
Is that a reflection of how attitudes to the LGBT community are changing in India, or has it always been more open than perhaps we would think in the West?
It was not the case before the Supreme Court of India as decriminalized. It was legally not allowed for LGBT community to come together. And after the decriminalization of the by Supreme Court, we launched an exclusive matchmaking service for LGBT community. So though its marriage is not still legalized, but living together is not something, it's not criminal. Yeah.
Now, we all know that heritage, a person's heritage, is hugely important, and you talked about happiness and oneness and wholeness and how important that is to a happy life. The diaspora is hugely important for many people, both those in the diaspora and businesses as well. So let's just take the market in the United States. Are you able to engage with those in the US who want to retain their Indian heritage?
Thank you for asking this question. Because for us, beyond India, US, UK, North America are important markets. Considering the growing population of Indian American in the US, we launched an exclusive brand called Mera Love, MERALUV, an exclusive dating app, because outside of India, the Indians who are born and brought up in the US, they want to date because that's a culture they were brought up. So, but they want to get married to someone who are Indian origin. So we launched an exclusive dating app for that market. So like that, we always look at servicing the Indian diaspora, not only in India, across the world. So Mera Love, looking at the opportunity of the growing population Indian American, we launched a brand. Going forward, we may take the brand to other market as well, maybe UK and other market as well.
COVID and lockdown, what was huge when it came to dating apps and dating websites right around the globe. To what extent did it impact your businesses?
So during the COVID time, we saw a traffic and registration almost went up by 40-50%. But the post the COVID, the whole thing has come down. So we are kind of come back to the earlier levels of registration, like pre-COVID levels. So there was a spike, but it has become now regular, or it has become normalized.
Just looking ahead to 5 years, obviously entrepreneurs, business leaders are always looking ahead. They're always looking at trends, setting the trends. disruptors, essentially. Let's just go ahead 5 years' time. I mean, we've seen here in the UK and the US, for example, there's this move from online to real life. In 5 years' time, where do you see the Indian dating market?
I see that the more than dating market, the online matrimony market, or serious relationship market, continue to grow, because today we have reached almost around 15% of the target audience. I see the probably 5 year down the line, it can probably in the range of maybe 25%, because we are also taking some steps like launching a serious relationship service like love.com. So we do expect we could probably take the percentage from 15 to 28% in the next 5 years. There's also coming as an innovative strategy to reach out more people.
Mr. Murugavel Janakiraman, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Talking Business. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Nice talking to you.
Well, that's it for this week. I really hope you enjoyed the show. And don't forget that you can keep up to date with all our global economy stories on the BBC News website, or of course, the smartphone app. You can also follow me on X @Lekwesa Burak. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.